Welcome everybody, welcome to the IWINETC program, 10 Grape Escape destinations to wine for in 2021. This is now in week 3. If you've been following us, we've been to Armenia, Bulgaria, Croatia. Now we're coming to Sicily as the next one in the series today. And we're delighted to have Daniela Marino with us, as well as Valeria Carastro, who are going to give you a tour presentation of the wine and culinary cultural delights of the island of Sicily, Italy. So welcome everybody. If it's the first time you've been watching our series of webinars of 10, you have on the right a chat box where you can say hello from Sweden, Elizabeth, Anna there from Portugal, and Karen from New York City. So do say hello, and of course it's more importantly, if you do have any questions during the presentation, do post them on the chat facility there. So Sicily, some of you may have seen in the waiting room while you're waiting for the webinar to come live. We put erupting soon, and we put that deliberately because Etna on the island of Sicily is in fact erupting at the moment. So we're going to start with a poll question. If you've been watching the news, the poll question is as follows, which I'm going to show right now. Recently, Mount Etna has been given us a great show. So how many eruptions do you think have been recorded over the past 2 weeks? So if you all vote now, there's, as always, a special prize at the end of the presentation where you can get a special prize. So do vote now. 50% saying, for those of you watching the replay, I'll just read the options. Twice, 3 times, 5 times, 7 times, or 10 times are the options. Of course, if you're watching replay, you can't get the prize. So next session, try and join us live. Okay, so let's, people are undecided between 5 and 7. The answer, of course, will be in the presentation. So I'm going to hand you over to Daniela, I think, first. Is that right?
Yes, Daniela? Correct. Yes, correct. So,
welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Anthony, for the invitation. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased and honored to be here today together with Valeria to present our beautiful destination. So I will start with the presentation. Can you see it? Can you see the presentation?
I'll bring it in for you. Just a second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Anthony. So we are very honored to be here today to welcome to Sicily and to show the beauties of our beautiful island, not only concerned about wines of wine lovers, but also the excellencies of our beautiful island. And we will want to start with the climate. Actually, Sicily is a very good destination for the wine crops because of the temperature, because of a good climate all over the year. The average temperature is 17 degrees, and this is very good for the wine crops, especially for the rich biodiversity and for the variability of climate. Our region is in the middle of the Mediterranean, is the biggest island of the Mediterranean, and actually is the biggest region of Italy. Consider that it can be compared to Belgium. It is 26,000 square kilometers, which means that to go from one part to the other by car, it takes approximately 4 hours. Actually, when we talk about Sicily, we always suggest to consider to split it into three different areas: the western part, the eastern part, and the southern part, because it's not possible to visit it at once. Normally, to experience the destination, considering that there are a lot of things to see, to experience, to live, it takes not less than 15 days if you want to visit everything. Then, since we have 9 provinces and each province is different from the other, we always say that even if you come one time, then you can come several times, because every time is different. We have 5 million inhabitants and a lot of several of natural reserves, 4 natural parks, 50 archaeological parks. Everywhere you go in the island, you can experience really different landscapes. Each region is different. Also, the coastline is different. So from one part to the other, you will find sandy beaches, rocky beaches, especially in Catania province, because of Mount Etna, of course, and the lava stones. Then we also have Pebble Beaches. This is just to give you an overview of the destination, which is right, as I was saying, in the middle of the Mediterranean, so it's very reachable from all over the world. And for this reason is very accessible, also because we have 4 airports. The main airports of the destinations are Palermo and Catania airports. They are very well connected, both for national and international flights. Actually, there are several direct flights from the main European countries. And this is very important because this allows to reach the destination and to experience it, especially over the last few years, not only during summertime, but also during the other seasons. And although last year wasn't, the period to travel, Catania has been named the 4th Italian airport for volume of passengers, which is very interesting to know. When we talk about Sicily, we talk about an island of excellencies, because we can say that in Sicily it is possible to experience everything. We have food, we have nature, we have art, we have culture, we have history, we have everything. And if we talk about food and wine tourism, we can say that people, travelers coming to Sicily can experience everything in different ways, because as I was saying before, actually all over Sicily there are a lot of differences, and so everywhere you go you can find and experience something which can be compared but not the same thing. Especially when we talk about food, we can find the same dish, the same plate, but cooked in a different way, and this of course because of the several civilizations we have had through the centuries. First of all, something to know is that Sicily has the main number of UNESCO heritage sites, 7 UNESCO heritage sites, and is the main number of UNESCO heritage sites of Italy, because Italy has 55 heritage sites in total, and Sicily is the region with the maximum number of UNESCO heritage sites. We were talking about Mount Etna, which is the highest active volcano in Europe, with more than 3,000 meters. And then we have Villa Romana del Casale in Piazza Armerina, the Valley of Temples in Agrigento, Syracuse and the necropolis of Pantalica, without forgetting the Baroque towns of the Baldinotto, including Catania and Ragusa regions, the Aeolian Islands, which are also called the Seven Sisters, and they are located in the southern in the northern part of Sicily, just in front of Milazzo, reachable by boat. Then, last but not least, the northern Arabic route of Palermo, Monreale, and Cefalù, with the Byzantine mosaics and the Palatine Chapel. We also want to give a focus to the 3 UNESCO intangible heritage, which are the dry soul art and the sapling wine of Pantelleria. Valeria afterwards will talk more about this wine, and the Sicilian puppets. But also the smaller islands, the minor islands, are very important for wine crops, and the focus will be on the Aeolian Islands, which are very important for the wine productions, and also Pantelleria, as I was saying before, without forgetting, of course, the other islands all around the biggest region, Sicily, which are the Egadi Islands in the western part of the island, just in front of Trapani, such as Favignana, Marettimo, Levanzo. Then in the southern parts of Sicily, we can find the Pelagi Islands, which means Lampedusa and Linosa, reachable by boat from Porto Empedocle. Then Pantelleria, as I was saying, reachable from Trapani as well, and Ustica, reachable from Palermo. So these are the smaller islands. But as I was saying before, the reason why Sicily is so different all over the island is because of the many civilizations we have had through the centuries. And this is something very important, especially for the wine production, because, and you will see this together with Valeria, because of the dominations we have had through the centuries, also the production of wines, the crops changed everywhere because of the difference of soils, of course. Something that you should know is that actually the grape wines, the first grape wines grew spontaneously, although we can say that the maximum, the explosion was brought from the Phoenicians, during the dominations of the Phoenicians. Before I was also talking about superlative gastronomy. We have a superlative gastronomy as something really interesting, especially for food lovers, is that everywhere you go in Sicily, you will find a lot of typical dishes and delicacies. One of them is arancino, and from last study of food and wine tourism, actually, it has been said that especially from Germany, France, Spain, United Kingdom, people, the first word written and searched is arancino, which is something very peculiar. But actually, we don't have just arancini. We have cannolo, pasta norma, pane panelle, and these are just some examples. But street food is very important in Sicily. We are among the 10 destinations in Italy, but not only. And then also in the search of food and wine tours, Sicily is positioned on the 3rd place. Without forgetting, of course, the excellencies in wines and wine productions. But something very important to know is that over the last few years, most of the wine producers and wine properties has also decided to invest in wine tourism. And so they are also changing the kind of hospitality. So they are transforming their properties, not only producing and selling wines, but also selling hospitality, which is something very interesting. It also is allowing the growing of food and wine tourism in Sicily. We just want to say something about golf resorts in Sicily. We have 3 golf resorts in Sicily, and we want to talk about them because they are positioned in not far from the wine regions, and this is important to know, especially for those who are interested in the organization of incentive trips, incentive tours, because it is possible to combine both the golf resorts, so the accommodation in the golf resorts, and the possibility to add an experience in a winery, so wine testing, but not only, also some nice workshops and activities to experience directly, not far from the golf resort. Of course, last but not least, what we say is that something very important in the destination is our joyfulness. We are always friendly, always joyful. We try to do our best to satisfy our clients' needs and to host everyone with our wild spirit, because we are so passionate that we always want to show the best of our island. And all the people who come to Sicily, they say that normally they cry 3 times when they arrive, when they stay, and when they leave, because they take weight. So it's because we have the habit to eat all the time. So whenever you come to a Sicilian house, you stay there and you eat all the time for breakfast, lunch, dinner, but not only. So this is something that you should know before coming to Sicily. So food and wine all the time. Energy. As you can see, I'm a rich woman, but I'm also volcanic. I used to say that I'm volcanic. I live not far from the volcano, the Mount Etna. And last night, I experienced something particular. From us, I could see the last eruption. Over the last few weeks, actually, we had several eruptions. Suddenly, we saw this red clouds all around us. But actually, it was something scary. It was something spectacular. And for us, for Sicilians, it's very interesting to see this lava flow going down. And you know what? Over the last few weeks, actually, till last night, we have had 5 eruptions. Last night there was the last one, which was amazing. You could see this black sky and then this lava flow and this eruption. Amazing. We promise it's something you have to experience at least once in your life. So we wait for you. Of course, as I was saying, wild spirit, because we have so many mountains, hills, places where to go and experience. You can experience trekking, hiking, snowboarding, lots of activities, so both in the mountain, but also in the lakes, by sea. Everything is possible here in Sicily, and there are a lot of professionals able to organize activities all over the island. Also the zip line. Last year, we also added the zip line activity to all our outdoor experiences. The seduction, because you can sit in the Greek theater of Taormina and look for the performance while facing Mount Etna, as you can see in this picture. Then the pureness of our cities. All over the island we have Norman barracks, Arab cities, and this is rich in monuments, in architecture, in old palaces, which are amazing, are spectacular. Inspiration, we have 7-star restaurants all over the island, which is very interesting for food and wine lovers, so that can experience the best excellencies of our destinations. But also tradition, and this is very important, especially for travelers who wants to experience the destination, but also add something peculiar. So taste, try, experience, put the hands in whatever they see. This is possible because we have a lot of contacts with locals who are able to offer the very deep tradition of our destination. And I want to give the floor to Valeria, ending with this picture. We have excellencies, but one of these is one, and it is nowadays Sicily today is one of the best destinations for wine lovers who come to Sicily can experience the variety, the differences all around the island. So now the floor to you, Valeria, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Daniela, and good afternoon, everybody, also from me, from Etna again. So I will try to give you an overview of the wine production in the island. Using this picture, you can have immediately an idea that in Sicily we have many different wine regions certified by DOC certification. Actually, there are 25. But you can see many of the wine regions are in the west part of Sicily. Just to give a general idea, in general, the west part of Sicily is more vocated for the production of white wines, but obviously not in exclusive, while instead the east part of Sicily is more vocated for red wine production. Again, not in exclusive. Obviously, in the island, we produce also sparkling and sweet wines and rosé wines. And sparkling wines production is growing very well in the last 10 years. To better explain the wine production in the island, I prefer to use the ancient way to divide the island. As Daniela told before, actually Sicily has 9 provinces, but I prefer to use this ancient way to divide the island in 3 valli. So Val di Mazzara is the west part of Sicily, Baldinotto, the southeast, and Val d'Emone, the northeast. And so we start from the west part of the island, in Val di Mazzara. You can see here are the most important number of DOC. Many of these are very small wine regions. So I want to underline only the most important, also because of historical reason or also for the surface of the DOC. So very important is Alcamo, is Menfi, is Marsala. Another very important one is Pantelleria. Daniela talked before about Pantelleria. It is a very small island, is a volcanic one. And all this part of the island, as Daniela told before, is very strongly influenced by the Arabian culture. And we can feel that in the wines, especially in the Pantelleria wines. In this slide, you can see which are the most important grapes for this part of the region. So about the white grapes, Grecanico, Insolia, Chardonnay, Catarratto, and Zibibbo are the most important. Grillo is very important especially for the Marsala wine production. And the Catarratto is the white variety that is the most important white variety in Sicily. Zibibbo instead is a Moscato di Alessandria, is the main grape produced in Pantelleria to make the very precious sweet wine from the small island of Pantelleria. I told you before that the west part of Sicily is more vocated for white wine production, but obviously there is also red wine production, especially with the Nerodabola, that is the main red grape for all the island. And but only in the west part of Sicily we found Perricone, that is the red grape that characterizes this part of the island for the red wines. But also Frappato, Nerello Mascalese, and obviously international grapes are present in the area. Just an overview of the vineyard and the landscape of the west part of Sicily, where vineyards are normally in smooth hills, not far from the sea. Generally, the west part of Sicily is the earlier harvest in Sicily, because there are wineries where they start harvest at the end of July, beginning of August, with the early varieties like Chardonnay, for example. Also because vineyards are very close to the sea, at the sea level also, so they start very, very early. Instead, the last harvest in Sicily will be here on Etna until middle November. So we are more than 3 months of harvest in Sicily. So for the wine lover is a paradise. So you can find the harvest in Sicily for a long, long time during the year. This picture gives you an idea of Pelagi Island. Here you can find the traditional bush vine, we say alberello in Italian, that are very useful in this island because the island is very, very windy, and it's very important to grow every kind of plants very close to the soil and not high. This is why there is no trellised vineyard in Pantelleria. And as you can see from the building on the left of the picture is the traditional damuso. Again, the Arabic influence here is very, very strong, and you can feel that incredibly in this small island. That is a jewel in Sicily. Well, now we move in the east part of the island. We move in Baldinotto, where instead the most strong influence is from the Greek culture, and we feel that everywhere in Baldinotto. We think immediately to the ancient Greek theater in Syracuse, for example. Here we have 7 DOC. No, better, 6 DOC and 1 DOCG. That is the unique certified guarantee DOP in Sicily. That is Cerasuolo di Vittoria. We have Riesi DOC, that is the higher, is a little bit on the hills, while all the other wine regions in the southeast of Sicily, they are very close to the sea. So we have Vittoria, Eloro, Noto, and Siracusa. And now we see the grapes of this area. Again, obviously, we have the most common grapes that are everywhere in Sicily. But very special for this area is, for example, Moscato di Noto. In Noto and Siracusa, they produce white wines with this aromatic white grape, perfect to make sweet wines, but also dry white wines. But we found also Grecanico, Cataratto, Grillo, Chardonnay, Albanello. Also Albanello is typical from the southeast of Sicily. Talking about red, obviously the king of the area is Nerodabola. Avola is a small village that is exactly in this part of the island, in Siracusa province. And Nerodabola takes the name of from that village. And is the king of this area, but the king, as I told before, the king of the red grapes in Sicily. But here we find another local variety that is Frappato. Frappato is very important for the Cerasuolo di Vittoria because it's the gentle, the softer, the more feminine part of this, the unique DOCG in Sicily. And in the Cerasuolo di Vittoria, Frappato is 20% of the blend, but that 20% is very important for that wine. And we find Frappato especially in this part. If you remember, I told about Frappato also for the west part of Sicily, but it's just a little bit part. Obviously, also here we find Petit Verdot, other international grapes, and also here the harvest is very, very early. And in this part of Sicily, the climate is really very, very warm. Is more African, very similar to African climate. So it is normally wine from this area. They have a strong, very important part of alcohol. So it's very important to to balance these wines. So very strong in character. Also here, just an overview of the vineyard. You can see how the color of the soil changes. Here you found more clear soils. And here again, alberello, so bush vines trellised. So, okay, let's go ahead. In Valdemone, this is our land, my and Daniela land. But Valdemone includes 4 DOC regions: Etna, Faro, Mamertino, and Malvasia delle Lipari. Faro, Mamertino, and Malvasia delle Lipari, they are, all of them are in Messina province, in the extreme corner, northeast corner of the island. La Malvasia delle Lipari DOC is, includes the small archipelagos in the north coast of Sicily, the archipelagos of Aeolian. Also here, also this grape is here because of the Greek influence, and they make, they still make a sweet wine in the Greek style, and it's very common, and it's still very common to dry the grapes under the sun in August in the Aeolian Island. That's very, very nice. In the Mamertino DOC is a very ancient and is very precious for the Nocera. Nocera is the grape, the red grape that characterizes the Mamertino DOC, but also the Faro DOC in Messina province. And we can find Nocera only in this part of Sicily, or in the south of Italy. But in Sicily, we found Nocera only here. This is this grape characterizes this area. Nerello Mascalese is the grape for the red grape for Etna, is the king of Etna. But again, in this part of the island, we found again Nerodabola, Frappato, and also international grapes. Talking about white grapes, again, the typical of Sicily, Catarratto, Zolia, Chardonnay, Grillo, Grecanico, but we found a new one, is Carricante. Carricante is the typical white grape from Etna. We have also Etna Bianco Superiore that is made only with Carricante. Carricante needs freshness, needs the altitude, needs the volcanic soil, and on Etna allows the best can offer. So again, some picture of the area of the northeast of Sicily. This vineyard is in front of the Messina Street. You can see at the end of the picture is the south of Italy. So this small belt of sea divides our wonderful island from the rest of Italy and Europe. And this part of the island is also, again, very, very windy, and this influenced a lot the taste of the wines. Some picture of the DOC Malvasia delle Lipari, the first one on the top, Mamertino, and Etna. Etna, that you can imagine, because of the steepness of this volcano, we need to make terraces to contain the soil and to create flat areas where to plant vineyards. If we don't do that, all the soil should arrive at the bottom of the volcano. So it's very typical to find these terraces all around the volcano. And also the traditional bush vines at also this is something that the Greeks teach us, is a Greek system to trellis the vine. All these places all around where the viticulture is so important are ever connected with a port. For example, Etna, in front of Etna, we have the port of Riposto, that is the port where the Greeks arrived at the 7th century before Christ, where they start to make agriculture, to make viticulture, where they start to bring their own varieties of grape, but also olives and other products. For Mamertino, for example, in Messina province, Milazzo is the important port from where the Mamertini arrived and start to make the wine in that area, while instead in Val di Mazzara, obviously, Marsala is a very important, the most important port from where the population arrived in the past. So this is a complete overview of the island. Now I hope you have a more clear idea of the region. So you can, I hope only to transmit you that if you come in Sicily to discover Sicilian wines, you need time because you have many things to discover. There are many wineries. Many of that are already offering services for tourism, but many wineries are very small. Some of that are bigger, especially in the west part of Sicily, but the east part of the island has a lot of very small wineries, because many wine production in Sicily is still very artisanal, high quality, but very artisanal style. So again, all the territory is improving the services for the wine and food tourism. In this picture, you can see the ancient train, the Circumetnea, Ferrovia Circumetnea. It is a small train that runs all around Etna. Every Saturday, we organize a wine tour with this train. So that this is a young project that is still running on Etna. Just to give you an idea. Many wineries are offering services very professional, sometimes only to enjoy the moment, but also if there are very professionals of the wine, they can find wineries well organized for every kind of wine experience. And what we love to do is organize wine tours, joining together food and wines. So normally, when we organize wine experience on the region, we like to join food or other products with the wine experience. And obviously, as so Daniela told before, with our special cuisine and traditional excellence and other products like olive oil or pistachios or other products that our land can offer. And maybe Daniela want to add something else?
Well, actually, what I can say, and just to finish our presentation, is that the only thing to do now that you have had an overview about Sicily and wines of Sicily. Once it could be possible to come to Sicily, we look forward to hosting you, to meeting you, and to show you personally all our beauties. So it's just to pick the thing you prefer, the area, the region you prefer, the wine you would like to taste, and then Valeria and I will be very pleased to let you discover Sicily and experience it, as I love to say, to experience it like a local. So thank you for your attention, and we hope to see you soon here in Sicily.
Okay, great. I was reminiscing the IWINETC back in 2017 there, when we had the International Wine Tourism Conference in Sicily, in and around Etna. In fact, Etna was erupting or trying to erupt when we were there. So I guess it was, I guess it knew we were coming back to town to provide some more eruptions.
Yeah.
Now we've got some questions. Well, on the subject of eruptions, have any of the vineyards been wiped out from any lava flows, Valeria?
Sorry.
Have any of the vineyards been wiped out due to the lava flows?
No, I don't think so. The white no. There's been any problem? No.
No, because the lava flows is very high. The higher vineyard are at 1,000 meters above sea level, but the eruption starts at 3,000 and more than 3,000, and the lava flows is inside the big Valle del Bove, where there is no any kind of agriculture, any kind of life inside. So no problem with for the fields. Only just a little bit of ashes on the leaves, but at the moment the vineyards they have no leaves, so it's okay, no problem. Only a wonderful show.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got time for some questions, and if you have a question, please post them on the chat on the right of your screen. Our friend from India, Sushma. He's picked up on I think one of the islands you mentioned with the salty air. Is asking, with salty air, will the grapes get decomposed fast?
Sorry, Daniela, mi aiuti a tradurre per favore? Sorry.
Can you repeat, please?
Will the salty air cause the grapes to decompose? The salt in the air from the sea.
Il sale.
No, not the salty, not the salty, but only the humid air from the sea, and the balancement of the climate, the temperature are never too much high, not too much cold, but not saltiness on the vineyards. No.
So what you might get though is saltiness in the wine.
Oh, the saltiness in the wine is from the soil. Absolutely, it's from the soil. We can find very salty taste in the Etna wines that is no so is close to the sea, but is very high. So the saltiness is allowed by the soil, by the richness of minerals in the soil, not from the sea.
Right. Sushma, another question is, just wants clarification between difference between DOC and DOCG.
DOCG is certified and guaranteed certification. It means that there is another level of control, is more controlled. It means that in DOC, they control spot, the production. Instead, in the DOCG, they control each production, each single production. So all the wines are controlled, every single tank. Okay, they don't take a sample from only one tank in a cellar, but they sample all the tank in the cellars.
Okay, good. Somebody posted, tour operator agent posted in private, can we suggest one or two wineries to visit close to in and around Palermo first week of October, hoping to be there?
Well, Daniela, vuoi parlare tu o dico io?
I think it's a suggestion. It's just for wine lovers, or a tour for wine tasting and activities to organize in the wineries, if I understood well. It's for a tour, right? You said it's a private question for wineries in Palermo area. Well, actually, of course, we can suggest some wineries, but of course, Valeria is the one who can tell, as regards the wines, which are the best. I mean, there are so many that to make a selection right now is not that easy. But of course, maybe we can suggest some of them.
Well, I want to say that normally when we choose wineries for our wine experience, we prefer to choose small wineries. And I want to say my favorite in Palermo province is Porta del Vento. That is a very artisanal one, wonderful wines, very elegant wines. Is really, really small, Porta del Vento. But I really enjoy also to visit, for example, in Marsala area, I don't know, Planeta or De Bartoli, big wineries that they are the story of the wine in Sicily. So I like, normally when we organize wine tours, we like to include different kind of wineries, more structured wineries with a long story, big important families, together with small wineries to appreciate the difference of these different kinds of wine production in Sicily.
Yeah, I remember back in, I don't know if it's close to Palermo or not, but one I particularly liked was where the lava flow just stopped in the vineyard of this small winery. I can't remember the name, I can't recall the name now, but I think they did cooking classes. It was the north side of Etna.
Maybe it was Tasca d'Almerita. Tenuta Tascante. Tenuta Tascante is sull'Etna. Regaleali.
Regaleali.
I just remember the volcanic ash stopping.
What is happening is that the big wineries, because especially in the west part of Sicily, there are big wineries of important families. All of them, they are buying vineyards on Etna because they want to add to their production also wine from Etna. So, for example, Planeta, for example, Tasca d'Almerita, Cusumano, very important wine producer from west part of Sicily, they are coming in on Etna. Also, winemakers from other parts of Italy, they are coming on Etna and they want to experience the production on a volcano with this special condition, because we like to. It's important to say that Etna wines are not representative for Sicilian wines. So that's very important. This is an important concept, because when you taste an Etna wine, you can say all the Sicilian wine allows this style. Is totally different because of the altitude. We have a mountain wine because our DOC allows 1,000 meters above sea level, while all the rest of Sicily, the wines are under 400 meters above sea level. So from the sea level to 400. Instead, Etna DOC started 400 meters above sea level and finished 1,000 meters above sea level. And this is very important for the altitude, for the soil, the different climate all around the volcano. This is why I say Etna wines are not representative for Sicilian wines, but they are special for different characteristics. Okay, I know we are from Etna, but you can come and experience this by yourself.
Well, let's hope Etna continues to erupt, thereby creating more land to grow more.
Yes, we have ever young soil coming from the sky.
Exactly.
And we have soils, very ancient soils, for example, and we have vineyards on ancient soils and vineyards on very young soils. That's incredible, the variability of the soils and the climate all around this volcano.
Okay. Melanie is asking to contact you for further information, but if Melanie can just watch the replay, which will be on the Wine Pleasures YouTube channel later today, you can get the contact details off the presentation. Well, in fact, you can download it in a moment, because the answer to the question was 5, although last night we hit the 6 eruptions. So those who've got 5 can feel free to download the presentation at the end of our time, which is about 3 or 4 minutes from now. So Sheila's got a tour booked for September. Hope that goes ahead. Kim is wine tasting in the Etna winery is able to visit with tasting in the evening or only during the day. Can you visit the wineries in the evening, especially when it's erupting?
Can you visit, Valeria?
Sorry?
Is wine tasting in the Etna wineries?
In the evening. In the evening, is it possible
yes.
to?
Some wineries, yeah, especially in summertime, it's possible to taste in the afternoon, not in the evening, but yes, in the afternoon at the sunset. At the sunset. Not in the night normally. Maybe on required, but
yeah, on request maybe it can be possible. It depends on how many people, the period. So it can also be possible to try to have a private tasting.
Yeah, we did it in IWINETC. I think in the evening we had evening visit and dinner at the winery. I didn't go to that one, but so I can't recall the name. In fact, Karen's confirming that Tenuta di Fessina, and now that does ring a bell. It's the one with the lava in the vineyards. Yes. Not sure if that's Karen from Australia, but probably not this time of day. Probably tucked away in bed. Simon's asking, what's the weather typically like at the end of April?
The weather, well, the weather is fabulous. Actually, I can say that right now yesterday we had 20 degrees. So as I was saying at the very beginning, normally the average temperature is 17 degrees. It's very mild. So it's, in my opinion, April is the best period to come to experience Sicily. April, May, till the mid of June, actually, it's very nice because then afterwards it becomes a little warmer, and then also because now we cannot say how it will be in the next future, but actually normally April, June is not that crowded. Then from the second half of June till August it becomes more and more crowded. And then of course the other best period to come to Sicily is September, October till November, as Valeria was saying, especially on Mount Etna. Harvesting could be possible till mid of November. So for wine lovers, these are the best period to come. Actually, as I always say, at every time is the best time to come to Sicily, to experience each season, each period, everything in the destination. So just come and see.
Right, yes, I particularly recommend the pistachio ice cream.
Exactly.
Granita.
Ice cream. So one stop to Bronte is a must.
Yes, absolutely. And by train if you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The Rattle-in train.
Yeah.
We had snow in the vineyard 2 weeks ago, and now we have 20 degrees. So it's incredible how the weather can change.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, so the poll question, those of you here with us at the beginning, the answer was 5 eruptions. So here's your prize. Let's just pull that up, which is the kindly donated by Valeria and Daniela, the presentation you've just seen. If you're watching the replay, unfortunately, you won't be able to get the slides, but feel free to contact us and we'll get you in contact with Daniela or Valeria. So if you'd like to take away the slides, then please download now while it's available. And just leaves me then to thank enormously Daniela and Valeria for the interesting talk. It's been as objective as possible for the whole of Sicily, but Etna is obviously a nice place to start. Sicily, and to get a taste of Sicily, go to Etna maybe first, and then discover the whole place. As Daniela said in her presentation, it takes a while. So if you're got 4 weeks off work and able to travel, then do make it to Sicily. So thank you very much, Daniela. Thank you very much, Valeria.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. It was a very big pleasure to be here.
Thank you to those of you who come in live to the Watch It Live. Thank you very much. All around the world, people have tuned in, and thank you to those of you who may be watching the recording over and over again. Okay, so let me just come in and I'll set you up for the next sessions, because we're now going to head over to Canada. So we're going to discover Canada as a grape estate destination. So Judith Lewis will be happy about that, one of our keynote speakers at the IWINETC. So I'm just going to post the direct link. If you're not registered and you want to attend, then you can go directly to the room. The link at the top of your chat box will take you to the registration page, and we'll see you in what I imagine is freezing Canada. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.